Okay, so what I did was I took a lot of clips out of a really awesome documentary that you guys should all watch. It's not the one that I posted on the Facebook page, but that one is also just as brilliant. This one I liked because it took 28 different people that had walked 28 different walks, or no, there was 8 different people, 28 different diseases. 8 different people with completely different diseases. They put them in this beautiful retreat in Portugal. You're not a
Super juicy.
Yeah, you are the juicer. And magically, not magically because it's how we're supposed to be, that's how we're built, most, if not all, of their diseases were completely reversed just in the 28 days that they were there. So.
Well, I have a theory, and it all starts with a fish. Think of a fish living in natural, clean, nutrient-rich water. The chances are it will live a disease-free life. But what would happen to the fish if you pollute the water? If you poured, say, cola into the bowl, or some salty potato chips, or greasy fatty foods like burgers and pizza, what do you think is going to happen? Well, all living creatures have a natural filtration system that can handle a certain amount of just about anything. But if you keep adding more and more junk into the water, the body's going to start to struggle. The poor fish is going to start showing symptoms of disease. It might get a skin condition. It might get asthma. It might become fat or obese. Perhaps it gets a headache or a cough. It might get arthritis and can't move its fin so well. Whatever symptoms it has, these are simply warning lights telling the body there's something wrong. So what's the best way to treat the fish? Medical intervention might suggest that you give it medicine to treat the headache, or different medicine to stop it coughing, or further medicine to help the fish move its fin, and perhaps even more medicine to treat some of the side effects that the first medicine has created. That might treat the symptoms temporarily, but even the medicines themselves add pollution to the bowl. It seems painfully obvious to any rational thinking person what the solution is. Would you want to give the fish more medicine? Of course you wouldn't. The answer is so simple. If you want to treat the cause of the problem, you need to clean the water. So that's effectively what our super juicers are here to do. To clean the terrain where their cells bathe. To clean the water, in other words. It's that simple.
All chronic degenerative diseases are caused by 2 and only 2 major problems: toxicity and deficiency.
We are living in an overtoxic world, and we're living at a time where we're also consuming foods that are devoid of nutrients. And as that toxicity and deficiency becomes manifest in our body, it results in disease.
We have to detoxify and flood the body with nutrients.
So it makes sense to me that we should address the toxicity and we should replenish the nutrients in our bodies if we're looking to heal ourselves.
Once you understand the cause, you got the answer for the cure.
Poor thing.
So do you remember Charlotte Gerson from last class? She is the daughter of Max Gerson, who Martin beautifully illustrated his life last lecture. We tackled toxicity in the first half of these lectures. She's talking about GMOs, she's talking about sugar, she's talking about gluten, she's talking about all of the processed fake stuff that they put into your food. That's what she's talking about. So detoxifying, meaning removing all of that stuff. Yes, there are way deeper levels that you can go onto that, but that is a really good basic. If you want your health back, just start there. And then flooding your body with nutrients, as we saw in last class's lecture, when you go to the Gerson Institute for healthcare, you're getting 14 to 16 juices a day that you're consuming. So talk about, I mean, you don't even want, I'm sure your swallow muscles would hurt after that, but like, because you just don't want to drink. I know what it's like drinking 5 a day, and it's like by the end you're like, I can't anymore, it's so much. So could you imagine what you're doing to your cells with 16? 13, whatever, it's a lot.
It's like 25 pounds of food.
A
You
day.
have to eat it. If you have
A
to.
day.
Wow.
It's
Oh, you mean
so
equivalent
impressive.
to?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
It's so impressive. Okay, so obviously you're juicing with raw plant food. You should not be doing anything with cooked plant food if it comes to a juicer or a blender. Why raw? Over the last 75 years, we've become the most overfed yet undernourished nation in the world. This has created an epidemic of obesity, heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, allergies, osteoporosis, autism, depression, and obviously way much more. Processed foods are addictive, especially flour, white sugar, animal products, and chemical preservatives. Eating a plant-based diet rich in enzymes, nutrients, water, hormones, phytochemicals, and oxygen is a known remedy to chronic degenerative diseases. It is the antithesis of it. It is the cure for it. Did you guys know that there's oxygen and phytonutrients and hormones and water in raw food? Because there is. We'll talk about that next lecture. That's exciting. Preventable chronic diseases are now the world's biggest killers. So like I said in this documentary, there was 8 participants with 28 diseases. You can watch the documentary for free on YouTube, Super Juice Me. The diseases were as follows: Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, asthma, lupus, gallstones, kidney stones, psoriasis, adrenal fatigue, osteoporosis, hormone imbalance, hypertension, which is HTN, high cholesterol, diabetes, sleep apnea, food and general addictions, and pulmonary sarcoidosis. Is that not an intense list of diagnoses? Wow. Like that's just one of them. The ulcerative colitis, for example, is such a debilitating disease, such a debilitating disease. Psoriasis, like these things are no joke, no joke. I think they could have come up with a better name, but.
It's Portugal, who cares?
Craving food today.
This is the first day.
Craving a lot of food. I want food.
This was just really funny, I feel. He's the one with the food addiction.
Wow.
And really great noise
What is
effects.
that?
Yeah.
Quick heart. That sounds like a heroin addict.
Hang on, if the super juicers are being fed everything that
This
the
is
juice
Jason
itself,
Bale, he's the owner.
then why does Lewis feel like a heroin addict missing his fix? They're not missing food at all. I mean, they're having more genuine nutrition than they've probably had in many years. What they're actually missing is, they're almost missing a drug in a way. It's like a drug addict coming off of a drug. That's the only way I can describe it. Imagine the big food industry is like a squirrel who's selling nuts to other squirrels. It wants to sell more nuts because, of course, it wants to make more money. Now, normally in the wild, animals won't eat unless they're genuinely hungry. So it can only sell nuts when its customers are hungry, right? Wrong. All it needs to do is cook the nuts and add these 3 highly addictive, magical substances: fat, salt, and sugar.
We talked about that.
Now something truly incredible happens. These new roasted flavored nuts have become highly addictive. They create what amounts to a false hunger. Your body is no longer satisfied when you eat them. Your natural hunger cutoff point is gone. Now, the squirrel's customers will keep buying and eating until they end up with an obese squirrel. And the big food industry is doing exactly the same to us. They're manipulating our food so that we eat more and more and more. Big food is responsible for, I think, the biggest addiction faced in Western society today. There's no question of it.
If you go into any restaurant or you go into any mainstream supermarket, we're getting poor nutrition and we're getting toxicity.
It's corn and soy and wheat and sugar and salt and chemicals. That's primarily what people are eating.
Add on to that all the preservatives and the additives that are used in food processing, from MSGs to artificial sweeteners like aspartame, for instance. And also, the preservatives are some of the worst that you can get in your body. So we're eating these on a daily basis.
So we're eating a diet that is very sparse on vegetables and very replete with these monoculture foods that have been spun out of factories and dumped into boxes or packages, and they do not contain life. Where is our life?
The
don't actually know what you're eating anymore. When you eat one item, it really is composed of 25 different things. Say you're having some sort of fast food hamburger that in the States are made up of 50% corn, and generally it's genetically modified. And then the other 50% comes from upwards of 100 different cows. You have to ask yourself, what am I really eating anymore?
The biggest thing that's wrong with the food that they were eating before they come here is that it wasn't genuinely feeding them. Like most people are overfed and undernourished, and so they're constantly hungry because their cells are genuinely starving. You don't often think of somebody being morbidly obese or obese and think that they are starving. But the irony is that's precisely what's happening.
Okay,
Yep, starving on a cellular level.
right, and that's where it matters. So I took one guy out of the documentary that my heart just, I love him to pieces, and we're gonna follow his journey. So his name is Andy.
My name is Andrew Morris. I'm 51. I suffer with a condition called pulmonary sarcoidosis. I've also got asthma to go along with it, paradoxical atrial fibrillation, sleep apnea,
Life
and type 2
expectancy is
diabetes.
5 years.
It's weird for people to understand, but I can go to sleep and I'll dream of waking up and just not taking tablets.
So to divert from Andy for just a second, juicing versus blending, smoothies versus juices, both medicinal, both should be done in your kitchen on a daily basis, but they are both different. Similar but different. So juicing is going to yield a high concentration of micronutrients. We're talking about your vitamins and minerals. Where blending, you're going to get your macronutrients, your carbs, your proteins, your fats, just based on what you're actually putting into each device, either a blender or a juicer. So the juice in juicing is yielded from inside the cell wall. The cellular structure within vegetables, like we talked about last time, is extremely fibrous. It is not something that you can chew through very easily. It is the reason why cows have 4 stomachs, because they need to constantly be breaking down the cellular walls within the grass, and then enzymes work, and you swallow them and you throw them back up, and my point is that it takes a really large amount of work in order to get what's inside the cells to come out of the cells in plants. So juicing does that for you. So breaks down the fibers, you get the juice out of the inside of the cell. It works best with hard fruits, harder fruits and vegetables. You can't put a banana into a juicer. I mean, you can, but that would really make a mess. Berries, not really a great thing to do either. Avocados, your nut butters, those are all things you guys have done that.
We bought one after the last class and then we tried
It's like
avocado.
nothing worse after the avocado.
Put that in your blender. Freeze them and then put them in your blender. They're perfect for that. So like I said, blending yields a high concentration of macronutrients. Like your nut butters, you're going to get a lot of your fats and your proteins and your carbs and things like that, because you can put that stuff in it. You can put an avocado in it, and you're going to actually get the whole avocado while you're drinking it. It blends the juice and the fiber together in a blender, or for a smoothie, rather, but it does require you to put some additional liquid into it, where juicing does not. You are just getting the juice from inside the cell of the vegetable, no fiber. Blending works well with any hard or soft, frozen or thawed vegetable or fruit. Like Martin and I said last time, we freeze our bananas whole with the skin on, and you chop them up and you throw them right into your blender like that. I promise you, it tastes way better than without them, because it's like way more of a potent banana. Avocados, freeze them. Like as much as you can freeze when you're making a smoothie, I suggest you do it, because you don't have to add as much ice to cool them down. Like we freeze everything. I'll take a big, you know those big green things of greens that you get, power greens or smoothie greens that you get at the grocery store that you hardly ever use. I freeze them. I'll freeze them and then take it out of the freezer the first time I make a smoothie and crunch it all down, and then you put it into a little Ziploc bag, and now you have your own like power greens basically, because they crunch down into such a small amount. It's amazing, plus save on space that way. But then they're frozen, then you're just like taking a spoonful or a scoop out, and you take your frozen bananas out, and you're frozen everything. Just smoothies are wonderful.
How do you freeze bananas?
Whole. When they start to go brown, just throw them in your freezer with the skin on.
Okay.
You can cut like the top and the bottom off, but I mean,
That's it.
I don't even think I would.
I do, I usually cut the stem off. But that's
I
it.
like all of
Everything
it.
else goes in.
There's a reason I like all of
You put
it.
you put the peels in?
Yes,
A lot of the
In the
nutrients are
blender?
actually
Yes.
in the skin
right.
Wow.
of
A
the-
banana is one of the only fruits that naturally ripens off the vine. Other stuff just like generally, but like it ripens in it. So whatever that magic is in the skin. I want it all,
Not the
That's
avocado.
good to know.
not the avocado,
I
no.
don't want to ripen.
What about like apples? You don't want the seeds part, so you have to cut the seeds out, right?
Again, why? Because there's arsenic in
Yeah.
apple seeds. I don't think it's going to be a lethal dose by any means.
So you
I
just
think
throw
if
the whole
you,
thing in?
I do, he
I-
likes to cut his stuff
I
really pretty.
generally don't when I blend, but when you juice,
Yeah.
you can throw it right in there, because it's not, it's gonna get caught in the mesh, it's not
Uh-huh.
gonna get juiced.
Yeah, the problem I have with juicing
But I don't
is just like so much work.
I don't
cleaning
blend it, I
juicing.
don't like blending the core in this.
We have a couple different juicers in the other room that we can go through. I have my favorite one.
You
And
can
then,
put your juicer in the dishwasher too. I've done
Yeah,
that before.
yeah, but if you're gonna use it all day,
True.
then,
Well, yeah,
Once you get a routine, it's like
Yeah.
anything, you know? And you wanna make enough for, you don't wanna
You
just
should
make
make it-
one juice. You
make it
wanna
in the
make-
morning for enough for the day.
but aren't you supposed to drink it like within 20 minutes? Or something like
Yes,
that when you juice it?
okay. But that would be for oxidation reasons.
Okay,
But if you're making a batch of juice in the morning and you're putting it into 16-ounce mason jars and you put a lid on it and there's
Okay.
not much space
Yeah.
there, then it's gonna be better than anything else that you're doing otherwise.
or
So
could you
like,
just freeze it? Will you lose nutrients if you freeze it?
I wouldn't freeze it.
Raw juice is good for 3 days generally,
Okay,
so you could drink it up to 3 days, sometimes 4, but that's
Okay.
pushing it.
Okay, chronic disease is the #1 killer on earth and age doesn't matter. How many 8-year-olds do you know with asthma? That is a chronic disease.
How many kids are pre-diabetic or diabetic now?
Right, it's like, it's ridiculous. So it does not discriminate age. It is 100% based on our toxicity load that we have right now. And like we were talking about it, what were we talking about last night? How his mother was very old school Italian, had very little processed anything, and then, raised him a similar way.
No, but then when it came to me,
Oh yeah, we were allowed to have Twinkies
I
and
grew
stuff
up
like
on
that.
some Frosted Flakes and all the sugary cereals and Devil Dogs and Twinkies, but my mother didn't, so it started with me.
Right, so, and
And I'm trying to break that, I don't wanna pass that down to my kids.
Well, we did it already though, and I'm a little bit of a younger generation, so granted, my house, and there's my mom, so she can attest to it, that stuff was not allowed, but that's not saying that for the rest of my generation. It's, it was a lot of that stuff, so I'm seeing all of the people in my high school now having these children that are having these massive problems. I mean, our children have massive problems. Is that the polite way to put it? Well, you know what I mean. So,
difficulties.
they have physical struggles, they have struggles, so, and it has much to do with that, and it's like, this is the world that they were born into, I didn't know it at the time, my pregnancies, anything like that, so like generationally, things get passed down to you emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. I've said a couple times, children born in the United States these days, in their umbilical cord blood, already have upwards of 250 chemicals detected, and they're not even out, they're not even detached from their mother yet. I mean, that's outstanding. Not in a good way, right? Okay. Juicers and blenders are the best healthcare system you can own. I would definitely suggest a Vitamix, a Blendtec, and a Ninja, as long as they're as good as everybody says that they are.
I have a Blendtec.
You do?
It seems to do everything.
I would
that
want a
Vitamix
blend tech.
does.
We have 2
Yeah.
Vitamixes. You have a Ninja. That works well, right?
Blend Tech, you said?
Blend Tech. Yeah, they're a little pricey.
It's a
What do I
little
think of
cheaper.
Andy's suitcase full of drugs?
I'm just looking at the differences.
Yeah.
Vitamix.
Vitamix. Oh yeah, but you had a
I
Ninja.
had them all.
Yeah, she did. You can get the Vitamixes at Costco. And ours is great. Okay, ready to go.
Dentist alone says it all. He's got 2 suitcases in his room, one full of clothes, the other one full entirely of medical drugs.
Yeah, there we have my
Oh my God.
tablets. I mean, I'm here for 4 weeks now, and I've had to bring a suitcase because of the amount I'm taking. And I'm hoping this journey is going to halve that or even get rid of most of it. And I can't wait for that. I also take steroids. Now, steroids come with a hunger factor. But it's quite scary how fast your weight can increase when you start taking steroids. I've been taking them for 13 years, and I would really not like to see my insides, because the outside's bad enough. And if I can get rid of the steroids, again, it would be a dream, it really would.
Benefits of raw juice and food. We will be going into the food next time. So there's countless nutrients found intact in raw plant food. Vitamins, minerals, amino acids, which are the actual building blocks of proteins. This is why all protein starts with plants, not animals. Animals have to eat plants in order for animals to get protein. Essential fatty acids, enzymes, antioxidants, hormones, oxygen, phytochemicals, and water. Anti-inflammatory and cardiovascular benefits, blood sugar benefits, phytonutrients aid in better blood sugar balance, better insulin regulation, and increased insulin sensitivity, meaning you're not going to have crazy blood sugar spikes and you're not going to feel hungry. Anti-aging and longevity benefits, antimicrobial, anti-cancer. Most, if not all of these though, are destroyed during the cooking process. So this is why you are not getting the medicinal qualities of your food if you are cooking your fruits and vegetables. They can't withstand the heat.
And then if you're cooking conventional fruits and vegetables, which don't have a lot of nutrients in them to begin with,
You're then getting the broken down pieces of toxins and pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and insecticides that they put on that food, because you don't cook those out, but you cook these out. You denature minerals, the enzymes are dead, oxygen's gone, water's evaporated. So yeah.
We should be juicing because so many people have impaired digestive tracts, and digestion is impaired because of the diet we've been on. Along come your beautiful juices. They go right into your intestinal tract, and those nutrients get absorbed into your system. They're going right to work within about 20 or 30 minutes. They're there feeding your body, rejuvenating, giving you energy, giving your body life. This is why you should juice.
I think juicing is the perfect antithesis to the failures of the modern diet and the modern food system. I think it is the exact opposite of a Happy Meal. It is the exact opposite of some Twinkie bar or some fast food junk that we're eating.
We've heard you are what you eat, right? And it's so true. We eat things that are dehydrated, that are void of nutrients, then we start to look and feel dehydrated, sickly, void of nutrients. We eat things like fresh green juice that are, a plethora of nutrients and vitamins and hydrates the body, then you start to look younger, you start to look fresher, you start to feel more energetic and more passionate and have more purpose in life because you're actually feeling better.
Juices are very alkaline, so they help you detoxify your body, which is essential for weight loss. They help you reduce inflammation, and it's the best way to get energy and vitality.
It's going to make you feel like a new person. You're going to notice all sorts of improvements you haven't noticed for maybe a long, long time.
What's she selling, you guys? Just her skin alone, I was like, look at how shiny her face
Her mind
is.
is
Her eyes,
Oh, my word.
right?
The
We
bright
talked,
eyes, too. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
We talked last class about how, not just how much nutrients are in a juice, but how quick it goes right into your body. She said 20 to 30 minutes. We found that it
It was faster than I was
it
like
was
within
as fast
12.
as alcohol. It enters your bloodstream as fast as alcohol, which is about
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes. So it's going right in, and your body doesn't have to do all the work to digest it, so you're not burning up, you know, all the enzymes and nutrients to try to digest the food that you ate. So it's a win-win
Should you
situation.
do like a colon cleanse before?
This will be a
juicing?
colon.
It's an all-in-one.
No need
Because,
to
I
do
know
any
that
of
it goes,
this.
the nutrients go through the colon, but if the colon is a little on the clog side.
It will unclog it for
Unclog it,
sure, yeah, no worries about that. The only thing that you would wanna do that I can look into and get back to you guys on is supporting your liver more during the process, just because if you're, all of a sudden if your cells are getting dumped on by all of these nutrients, your toxins have to go somewhere, so you need to
Yeah,
kind of
so-
support that side of your detox process as well, so we can talk about that.
And, well.
What? Oh,
the-
coffee enemas,
the
but, you know.
Gerson therapy, it's an enema basically. And
They're
Gerson,
different.
Gerson therapy used organic coffee, and the coffee absorbs all the toxins.
The caffeine makes you,
Can I tell you?
yeah.
Everyone says, oh, it's the caffeine, it's the caffeine. That's not the truth. Because I switched to organic coffee. I don't get the jitters. I don't get any of that.
well,
I had a
it's
coffee outside of home. I felt like I was having a heart attack.
Coffee is one of the most treated substances on the face of the earth, FYI. So if you're drinking coffee, make sure it's organic and like you know where it's coming from. Like that would be something.
It's tough to do out.
I get, right, yeah, like, I get it.
Not organic.
But this is why it's so important. Everybody outsources everything. Everybody outsources their meals, everybody outsources their energy, everybody outsources everything because it's a pain in the butt to have to do this stuff on our own now that we've had all these major conveniences forever. It's like, I don't want to do that. No, I don't make my own coffee or I don't pack my own lunch. It's not in our lifestyle anymore. Everything is instant gratification. And that's how they want it to be structured. This is a fallen world. They want your attention to not be where it's supposed to be. They want your energy, and it really needs to stay within you. That is how we were designed. So, enzymes. Enzymes in raw food aid in digestion. They lead to a more energetic life, and they extend our lifespan. And it's even more so with living raw food, which we will talk about that next class. Enzymes are the spark of life. Martin told me, he gave me a good analogy. It's like, you can't do anything without enzymes. They are required, what am I looking for?
Spark plugs.
They are the catalyst for every single chemical reaction that happens in your body. Every single one. So enzymes are controlling a lot of what's happening right now. If I didn't have enzymes in my body, you wouldn't have anything. There would be nothing. There would be no life whatsoever. They are the spark of life. Apparently, your car can't run if you don't have spark plugs. I didn't know that. That was the analogy my husband gave me. It won't
I
fire.
figured that was his.
And yes, and that is exactly an enzyme. Nothing will fire and nothing will go if you don't have enzymes present. So, they're technically a protein molecule, but that's like saying the outside structure is a protein molecule. Like if aliens landed on Earth right now and took you aside, they would say, oh, these humans are all protein molecules because the outside of your body, like everything is made up of proteins, but that doesn't mean that you are a protein. You're much more than just a protein. So that's why I said they're proteins, just in case any of you want to dive into this on the side. They're more than proteins. We'll discuss that later. They are necessary for the proper breakdown, assimilation, and delivery of food ultimately to the cells. They are the catalyst for every chemical reaction in our body. They are required for cell division. immune system functioning, nervous system functioning, energy production, brain activity, and everything else. Vitamins and hormones cannot do their job without enzymes. Vitamins means vital for life. Vitamin means they're vital for life. So again, this is why holistic health is such a long process to understand, because it's not like oh, you need enzymes, that's gonna fix this. Well, no, you need enzymes, but then you also need the vitamins, and you need to understand hormones, and you need to understand all of this stuff. That's why we go deep into it.
And when you juice, it's like an all-in-one package. It has all the enzymes that you need within the juice. When you eat cooked food or regular food, it doesn't have any enzymes in it, so you're drawing from your body's reserve of enzymes, and you're just depleting, right?
Yeah. So all uncooked food contains exactly the perfect amount of digestive enzymes needed to break that itself down completely. There are two types of enzymes. There's digestive enzymes and there's metabolic enzymes. We're talking about digestive enzymes right now. So just like Martin said, that's what Martin said. So for example, dust to dust. You start as dust and you go back as dust. If you take a banana and you pull it off the mother plant and you leave it there, it will digest itself eventually, caused by the enzymes. That is what is breaking it down over time, and it will break it down back to dirt if you let it sit there long enough. Interestingly enough, McDonald's French fries, you can't do that because they are devoid of life, electricity, which is what enzymes carry ultimately. That's why you can leave them on the counter for 3 months and they look exactly the same. It's because it's fake food. It's not real.
Plus the seagulls come again.
So, flesh, this is true with all flesh, vegetables, and fruits. They completely 100% decompose on their own if left alone, right? Cooking destroys a large number of nutrients, especially the enzymes. Digestion of cooked food zaps us of our energy, as the body must do all the work to digest it, because if you're eating cooked food, the enzymes aren't present in order for it to be digested inside your body. Now your body has to come up with digestive enzymes in order to digest the food that should have the digestive enzymes in it. So this is why after Thanksgiving, everybody's super tired because they overate and none of the food that they ate has got the enzymes in it to digest it. So your poor body's got to come up and do all the extra work to digest the food. Enzymes are destroyed when heated above 118 degrees. This number is somewhat arguable depending on who you're talking to, but it is a very low number. It is not, like 150, 170. It is a low number.
That's why we dehydrate at 110, 115 degrees in a dehydrator, because it keeps all the enzymes intact.
So Eskimos, I thought this was fascinating, means one who eats raw. Because originally, what they used to live on was basically whale blubber, but they'd eat it raw. And they didn't have they don't have the health issues, or they didn't because now they've been very Americanized. They didn't have the health issues because even flesh has these enzymes in it. So they're eating this, surviving on it, because they don't have to use any of their own digestive anything in order to digest it. It comes with it. Our digestive reserve decreases over time. That's why an 18-year-old is able to eat everything and not have a problem. Well, I mean, they will eventually, because an 80-year-old can't. Everything sits in their stomach and it's gross. So you basically have like an enzyme bank, a reserve in your body, and when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, people have to take digestive enzymes. I suggest everybody take digestive enzymes, by the way. It is one of the supplements that I think everybody should be taking with your meals, couple minutes.
Is that the probiotics that you're...
Different.
Is
Probiotics
there a
feed
specific
gut bacteria. I will say Garden of Life for everything, just because I know the brand and it's a reputable brand. I'm sure I can find something else though. That's an Amazon thing. I can look at the pharmacy that I use and send you something if you're actually interested in something, better than what they offer, but they're pretty good. I just don't, I think their price points are a little higher because it's mainstream marketing. So I can look at my pharmacy. It takes 10 metabolic enzymes to create one digestive enzyme. So if you're eating a Thanksgiving meal and your body needs to come up with all of these extra digestive enzymes, it's going to take it from your metabolic enzymes 10 to 1, which is, you know, a lot. Everybody's like, my metabolism when I was so younger was so much better. Well, this is part of the main reason. Is it more, Andy? Yes.
Instead of drinking the cabbage juice. Cabbage juice?
Cabbage and apple? I'll tell you why in a second. His face. Right? He's just so in the moment with it. I love it.
This journey's all about surprises, and another one is I never thought I'd ever drink a cabbage.
So one of the guys on here, I don't know, remember the last clip that I showed, he was sitting there with a blue shirt on, it was a big guy. He's the one that had ulcerative colitis. So when he started the program, he was not seeing the results that everybody else was seeing instantaneously. So Jason, the guy who owns this and was running the experiment, had to go and dig, and cabbage, specifically the purple kind, has massive, massive beneficial nutrient effects, specifically for people with colon problems. So he started drinking the cabbage and apple juice, and within 24 hours, stopped having to run to the bathroom 17 times a day, which for somebody who has, I mean, watch the documentary because they pour so much of themselves into it, you really get attached to them. He had struggled so greatly with this diagnosis, and he's so young, he's my age. So that's like, forget it, I would rather die than have to, like, what kind of a life was that? He had no social life, it was just a super struggle. So for him to have such a transition so quickly with just drinking cabbage juice, like, that's miraculous.
That's like cabbage soup, like you could lose a lot of weight with cabbage soup.
Yes, for different reasons. Probably has to do with a lot with the fiber and the bulking aspect of it. But cabbage is a super, super healing, medicinal vegetable.
Okay, just one question, like say if you eat spinach, you're gonna get less from eating the spinach than juicing the spinach?
You're going to get different things
Okay.
from eating the spinach and juicing the spinach. I mean, there are some vitamins that you can't actually get out of spinach unless it is cooked.
Yeah, I'm just using that like as an example, you know, as like
You are
juicing
going to
versus
get-
eating raw, like eating it.
No, you're gonna get this, no, you're gonna get more of a concentration of it drinking spinach. Drinking spinach, because one of the volume, the sheer volume that you have to juice is much greater than you're gonna sit there and eat. So again, like juicing would be for, I mean, juice every day. I juiced for like 2 years and it was the best 2 years like ever. I would completely urge everybody to do that. But if you're going to do a fast, do a juice fast because you're supporting your body in such a bigger way. There's way more of a medicinal purpose to juicing than just sitting down and eating a raw meal.
Could you add like raw milk to that juicing or no? Like I don't even put the raw milk.
Dairy, are you talking about dairy?
Yeah, raw milk.
No, no.
Just juice without,
no,
because that's
no
usually
dairy.
how I fast.
Okay,
It's like a
you
liquid
do.
fast with, you know.
Switch out the dairy for the juice. And definitely come to our plant-based meetings where we talk about dairy, because that's gonna be something you wanna know. Okay, so it's super alkalizing to the body like he talked about. It's incredibly hydrating. It improves your circulation just because everything is flowing so much better anyways. The electrical charge and the life force in the juice is intact. And we will talk about that next time. That is so exciting to me. It awakens the body's true natural instinct. So how many people have done a fast of any kind? A water fast, you know, for prayer reasons, like anything like that. How did you guys feel when you were on it? Did you, after the first couple days, like, did you struggle the whole time, or did you get to a point where you were like really clear and you felt superhuman?
I did.
You did, good. And not even superhuman, you felt human. You're like, oh wow, I didn't know that I could feel this way.
I did, towards the end.
Towards the end, right, yeah, it takes like 2 days to get over the bad part,
Yeah,
the
the
walking through hell
detox.
part, yes.
Well, doTERRA has, we do like every quarter a cleanse.
Oh,
There's stuff.
so it awakens the body to your true natural humanness, things that people, especially if you've eaten a standard American diet all your life, you've never felt. It's miraculous when you get to this point and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm human. Like, this is really cool. Animals versus humans. Animals eat 100% raw. They do not get chronic degenerative diseases or cancers outside of those caused by environmental issues, if you're going to talk about, yes, they do. And furthermore, domesticated pets and animals that are fed processed, cooked foods do suffer similar diseases to us, obviously, but the ones in the wild do not. I'll let Martin talk about one of his other favorite topics.
I could do a whole lecture on why we're not carnivores, despite what some people think. But there's many, we don't have sharp teeth to rip and tear flesh, number one. Our mouth opening, carnivores have a very huge mouth and their jaw is located up high. We have a very small oral cavity. Our teeth are made for grinding. It's almost like a masticating juicer. It's made for grinding.
Nuts and seeds and plants.
Right, to get the nutrients out of them. That's basically what the juicer does. We have enzymes in our mouth that break down the food right away. Our digestive tracts, carnivores have a very short digestive tract. It's made for getting the meat out quickly.
Carnivores don't chew their food. They rip their food and they swallow it.
Right.
So what happens to meat if you leave it out in 98.6 degree weather?
It runs.
Really quickly. So that's why they have to have short digestive tracts, because it needs to get out of their system quickly, or else they're going to have some seriously gross problems. Whereas humans,
Ours is
we
huge.
need
9 times our body height, it says here. So, what happens to that meat? I mean, you've heard the statistics. I mean, I've heard 5 pounds, 7 pounds of undigested meat is basically trapped in our colon that just never comes out. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who was that cowboy? Was it you who
John
told me
Wayne.
about that?
John was 65 pounds.
And he ate meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I think Elvis too.
There you go.
I think
There
he was
you go.
40. One was 65, one was 40 pounds in the
Yeah.
colon.
Yeah. Their stomachs, their pH is like under 1. It's like basically battery acid. And so they could eat rotted.
It's called Karen.
Carrion.
Yeah.
They can eat rotted, maggot-ridden flesh and not have a problem with it because their battery acid stomachs just dissolve it.
We
Our
don't have
pH
that.
is like about 5. So, they have claws. We stand flat-footed. We're more for like walking and foraging, basically gathering. Carnivores are in a stance. They're basically ready to chase down their prey.
Like your dogs and your cats, they walk on
Very
their
fast.
toes, which if you have ever sprinted, you know that is the fastest way that you can run is on your toes. It's not flat-footed. And they have claws like sprinter spikes, so.
But it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, legit, you could talk about it forever. Good job. Weight loss. Who doesn't like that? I figured everybody would be excited about that.
I was walking with one of my shorts, and I come back now, I find that I can just slip in and out of these shorts without undoing the buttons.
This is like a
It's
week or
like,
two.
I should imagine put on a dress, not that I've ever done that, but, even though I know I'm going to have to buy more clothes, it's a lovely feeling. It's really brilliant. I know I'm doing well now. It's brilliant. Yeah. I've got space.
28 days later, here we go, Andy.
My results, I was well happy. First of all, this morning, we jumped on the weighing scale and I found that I lost 38 pounds, which, you know, I'm really chuffed about. I arrived as a diabetic, I'm leaving with no sign of diabetes. The CPAP machine for sleep apnea, that now is a door wait because it's no good to me at all. If I didn't change, then I really wouldn't have lasted much longer. I would have probably had another year, 2 years in me.
Look at his face.
But that would
Yeah,
have
it's
been it.
it's
I would be
going
dead.
Beautiful.
It would have been too late to juice. This 4 weeks.
Why is it drinking it so fast?
Holy moly.
That's
Because
a
you've got to
juice.
do it in 20
That
minutes.
really is a juice.
He's so sweet. I love this.
So do they teach them how to juice there?
Of course they do.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, but he's still heavy and he doesn't use his sleep apnea machine.
Mm-hmm. Because of the junk removal that happens on a cellular level first. So if you're working at a cellular level first, everything else is going to fall into line. So his circulatory system, what Martin said, did you see his his blood oxygen saturation went from in the 70s to 91%. There's no reason for it because not only are you able to take a deeper breath, but you're also getting oxygen in the food that you're drinking.
Okay. Oh.
That's the beauty of eating this way or juicing.
Right, and just watch, because you see him
Yeah,
again.
it heals everything, you know? It heals, it doesn't just heal one disease, it's everything.
You know, it seems really odd that we have reached the stage in 21st century medicine and we are still at the point that we call alternative medicine other than medical drugs. I mean, nobody even questions that. Surely, the number one doctrine is to first of all do no harm. So surely we should try plant-based medicine first, and then if that doesn't work, we should seek an alternative to what is obvious, and the alternative should be medical drugs. It shouldn't be the other way around.
I think when it comes to looking after your health, you have the power to do it. You're the one that knows your body better than anybody else.
I think when we're really, really healthy, life becomes about nourishing yourself on a mental level, nourishing yourself on an emotional level, nourishing your body.
If you nourish all your defenses and you nourish all your systems and you nourish your immune system and you nourish your brain cells and the body is detoxed, how can you feel but better?
When you look at the fact that the food that you eat really creates the life that you live, everything starts to change.
Juice every day. This has got to be a way of life because that's when you're going to notice your life changes.
This is the bottom line to health. Start doing it on a daily basis. You'll never regret it. It's the ultimate way to feed your 100 trillion internal cells. The ultimate way. There's nothing else that duplicates it.
You will never know how good you can feel until you give juicing a try.
Here's Andy again.
There he goes.
Well, now there's a funny old story. Once we had the interviews at the end of the 4 weeks, Jason said, what was I going to do? And I couldn't think of anything but staying, really. Now we'd started, I'd really like to see it through. Yeah, well, as you know, I had 2 suitcases coming out. One was full of tablets, the other one was my clothes. Now, I said previously I was taking 40 tablets a day, but when I actually counted them up, it was actually 52 tablets a day I was taking. Now, Jason did want me to go home with just 1 suitcase, and that was my clothes, obviously. But unfortunately, I still do have to take 2 suitcases. One is my clothes, and the second one I actually have here, and that's my tablets. So, yeah, I got 2 tablets a day now I'm on, so I've lost 50 tablets somewhere, and I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, here we go.
You can do this with with the doctor though? Because he was like on a lot of pharmaceuticals.
Right, so they will have
They have
a
a staff
staff there
Okay.
that draws your blood and monitors things, but if you were taking medications for diabetes, let's say, to manage your blood sugar, and all of a sudden you stop eating a crappy diet,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily need a doctor to tell you to come off of it. If you're balancing your blood sugar naturally, it would be counterintuitive to continue to take the medicine. So, yes, but they do this supervised.
Not that I'm like on that, but you know, I'm just saying people can wean off the medicine, say by themselves with the juice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would suggest that you work with a holistic practitioner, somebody who knows what they're doing and can support you. And, you know, work with your physician, because if you sit there and tell your physician, I'm gonna start juicing so I can come off my meds, they're gonna prescribe you an antipsychotic. So, this is our Norwalk juicer, right? We showed this picture last time.
Yep. So that's what we started using. This is the original cold press juicer. It has, it's a grind and press.
Did you take a picture of our ceiling?
It's kind of antiquated, no. So you grind it through here and you have to grind it into a bowl. And then you end up with a big bowl of ground up vegetables and fruits. And then you have to take it and you have to fold it into a cloth and put it here. And then this is a hydraulic press that comes down and presses it.
How many
to
tons of pressure?
1 ton. And it presses all the juices out of it and it flows out, and you have a cup under there obviously to catch it all. And that's what Gerson used, but so that's.
So all of this produce.
So the ginger you could stick in with the skin?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't skin anything except for oranges.
Yeah.
So this is pulped. This is Jeannie's old
Yeah, this is
juicer.
all.
But why the oranges?
We can keep that on, just take the orange citrus.
Because the skins.
Because that stuff underneath it, yeah, it oxidizes very quickly with the juice, so you have to peel.
So all that was ground into
Into
that,
that.
and then pressed, and then, so there's the pressed.
You see the pancakes
There's
in
the
the
pressed
middle?
pancakes. And they're super dry.
You could eat them?
Yeah, we used to make burgers out of them, chips. We give them to our chickens.
What, that's the acronym?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all the fiber.
That's all the
From all of that, those vegetables and fruits, this is what the pulp looks like before you press it. So this is the juice and the fiber, and then that's all the fiber in the
That's
middle,
how much
and
we
the
made
juice
in one shot.
extracts it.
Those are 32-ounce glasses.
Big.
So we made a lot.
So next time, we're gonna be talking about the Hippocrates Health Institute, which is another step up from this. But, so now that everybody's here, how do you guys feel about the food cleanse? I started talking about it before. We were going to do a food cleanse in a couple weeks, but I figured that after we talked about this, we might wanna do a juice cleanse first and save the food cleanse for like January when we come back post holidays. So I would not recommend buying a centrifugal juicer. If you have one, whatever, fine, use what you have, or buy a different one. This I just bought on Amazon last week for 80 bucks. It's wonderful. It's what I juiced on for years. It can handle a whole lot. I mean, my 2-year-old learned how to juice on
For
this
how
thing.
much?
This is a masticating slow juicer. This is also a masticating slow juicer. This is another variety that you will see. It is just a top-load juicer. You put your fruit and vegetables in here, the pulp comes out here, and the juice comes out here. Either one, it doesn't matter. They do the same thing. It depends on what you want. In this, you put the hopper's a little bit smaller in this one. That's the size. So you got to cut everything down to that size. The juice comes out here into here, and the pulp comes out into here. When we dive into the Hippocrates Center, wheatgrass will be a sort of a big component of that. This is what you would juice wheatgrass on. You cannot juice wheatgrass on anything else really, because it doesn't yield anything. And to get a shot glass worth of wheatgrass juice, you need to juice a 10 by 10 tray. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work for a little bit of juice, but that is like liquid gold in terms of medicine. So that's what that looks like. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do the green juice first.
Which is the one from Costco, you said?
Not here, that's a blender.
It's a blender.
That's a blender. It's called a Vitamix,
Okay.
Vitamix, and it's about $250 to $300. It's an investment, but again, if you do something as radical as introduce a smoothie into your daily regime and a juice, it's the best money you've spent on healthcare to date then.
So Vitamix is just a blender?
Vitamix is just a blender, but a blender that you can make nut milks in, a blender that you can make, the butternut squash soup that I made that in the blender with the rinds on the butternut squash and everything, and nobody tasted any rinds because they're invisible, because that's how high-powered these things are. This is a commercial grade cold press juicer. It works the same way as the Norwalk, but like Martin said, the Norwalk juicer is a very antiquated product. They hadn't updated it in since the dawn of time.
The 40s?
So it does the
Seriously.
same thing. Put the food into here, it grinds it into this bag. There are also reusable bags, but they're just a pain in the butt. So this is a tea bag material. It's the same thing as a tea bag. So all the pulp goes into here. I mean, you don't even have to take stickers off of apples because nothing gets through. I know. Well, you know, if you're juicing a whole lot, that stuff gets like really tedious. Like 30 apples with stickers. I'm like, forget it. It's fine. And then this presses into here. Well, into whatever you have down here. You can put it whole, just a glass. This will juice 16 ounces at a time, and it juices way faster than that. The darker the color in your fruits and vegetables, the more phytochemicals are in it. Phytochemicals, I've said this a couple times, but basically they are invisible, like flavonoids and stuff like that you guys have heard of those names, but that's what they are. They're phytochemicals within the plant. I've talked about Johns Hopkins and broccoli sprouts before, how they held a patent on broccoli sprouts for about 8 years because the phytochemical within broccoli sprouts, it's called sulforaphane, is 300 times more potent in killing cancer cells than chemotherapy, because chemotherapy just kills all cells. These, when put into a petri dish, they didn't know what to call them at first, but they were testing all these fruits and vegetables with toxic cells, cancer, whatever other diseases, and they were seeing with certain types of fruits and vegetables, certain types of creatures would come out of them and attack the cells, and they didn't have a word for it, so that's what they call them, phytochemicals, because they're like killing chemicals within the plant. It's really like proof of God, because you have plants that have been around since the beginning of time that have properties in them that our only job is to destroy things that humans now have, which is like mind-blowing.
And I sing faithful, oh you're so faithful, and I'm so grateful.